veterans spoke up on Trump's new transgender policy. On July 26, President Trump upended his predecessor's rule about transgenders in the military with 3 tweets. Almost immediately, veterans service organizations, VSOs, politicians and veterans voiced opinions about the new rule. 2 veterans service organizations, VSOs, were immediately against the ban: Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and Concerned Veterans for America. On the other hand, no other VSOs have made any public statement on the ban. Of course, politicians just had to have their say in front of cameras, one of their favorite pastimes. Over a dozen Democrats, both senators and representatives, as well as 4 Republican senators, Schumer, McCain, Hatch, and Shelby, were against it. Veteran politicians Senators McCain, Ernst, Duckworth, as well as Rep. Walz, Moulton, and Kinzinger were all against the ban. However, most conservatives, both civilians and politicians, were solidly behind Trump's decision. So how do service members and non-political office veterans feel about this issue? Most transgender veterans were totally against the ban. However, most other veterans were decidedly for it. Wounded Warrior J.R. Salzman, he lost his right arm, below his elbow and his left hand was pulverized, had a Twitter storm of 25 tweets calling the so-called transgender experts to task. For example, the same people who think a woman with a penis should be allowed in group showers are saying Trump's move degrades the military. 6 active duty service members and veterans provided coherent opinions on why transgenders in the military were not a good idea. Walt Heyer, a former transgender who lived as a trans female for several years, wrote in an editorial, "I think he made the right decision, and as someone who lived as trans female for several years, I should know. Perhaps they have forgotten that our military was forged to be the world's strongest fighting force, not a government-funded, politically correct, medical sex change clinic for people with gender dysphoria." Gender dysphoria, the common diagnosis for one who feels at odds with his or her birth gender, develops from prolonged anxiety and depression. People are not born that way. One obvious question is how many transgender service members are there? 2 companies have conducted in-depth analysis of the issue. The RAND Corporation estimated 1,320 to 6,630 transgender service members in the active component, but not all will seek gender transition-related treatment. And a UCLA law school published a white paper stating 15,500 transgender individuals are serving on active duty or in the Guard or Reserve forces. More likely than not, the actual number lies between these 2 estimates. Another question is how much are these impending surgeries going to cost? An estimate by Wayne Dupree was $1.3 billion over the next 10 years. And no one has mentioned the approximate $1,000 per month for necessary hormone treatments needed by each person who completes their gender transformation. On July 28, 2017, Tucker Carlson asked Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North what were his thoughts on transgenders in our military. He responded, "The president issued guidance this week that's going to stop treating military personnel like lab rats and radical social engineering experiments, and it all have been distracted by the kinds of things happening inside the White House and around the corner from the White House and inside the 18 acres. 1A. U.S. Marine Rifle Company is not a petri dish in which we conduct experiments on how much stupidity it takes to kill tough men with rifles." Well, stay tuned. This war is not going to be over anytime soon.